Kofa, you are here today again. Can you tell us exactly what did your defense team have been arguing to ensure that you are free from this?
Okay, so, I think last December we all treated to the term ultra virus. The term you got to take today is called fruit of the poisonous tree. It means that when you gather evidence illegally, you can never use that evidence in a trial. And what we saw today was phones were broken into by the police on December 19th, sent to NSA, and then the warrant was gotten on January 9, 2025. It means that's the fruit of the poisonous tree. It means all that evidence. The fruit of the poisonous tree comes from the Garden of Eden, right? God said you can eat everything here except for this fruit. That fruit that was eaten by the police cannot be used as snake baby. It must be fried.
The law in our jurisdiction is clear. The criminal procedure law. You are not forced to file the magisterial court. You can also file a motion to suppress the evidence in the court that has trial jurisdiction. And so the court that has the trial jurisdiction is Criminal Code A. And the key questions that we raise regarding the case is that you asked me, you're not waiting for me to submit.
Your defense team for similar motion before the magistrate.
That's why I'm trying to give you the information. This code is a proper code because it's the code that has trial authority. And you always find out when there is an indictment that is being served on the parties. So after the indictment, there is something we call discovery. The discovery is where you ask the court to compare the prosecution under the doctrine of notice to turn over all the evidence that the government has against the client. So when they do that, they turn the evidence over to you. You look at the evidence, analyze the evidence, and if you have any reason to question the evidence, that is the stage. So that is the trial procedure. Now, so you will ask, what did we say and what do we really ask for today before the court? The evidence that the prosecution turned over to us speak that the extraction of the evidence from the defendants, meaning the cell phones information that they took from the defendant, that they said they used to have evidence against the defendant, they extracted those evidence without a search warrant. They did that on December 20th when they turned over the case to the National Security Agency, the NSA. NSA was the one that conducted the forensic analysis of the evidence on December 20, 2024. And then, looking at these defects, they knew that these were procedural defects that would be questioned at the level of the trial. So on January 9, 2025, after 1 month, then they asked for a search and seizure. To what? To say that the evidence were collected on January 9, when in fact they have already collected the evidence and seized the evidence on December 20th. So when you do that illegally, because without a search warrant, without an application to the court requesting for the search warrant, then the evidence is faulty. So when you hear we were saying that the evidence is faulty, and that all of the other evidence that came as a result of that illegal conduct carried out by the NSA and the police must be suppressed, meaning it can be used against them. That is our law. The next argument we raise is that it is law. Supreme Court has said that in the case CC Nete Blankwe, which is the Republic of Liberia, that case was decided in 2009 by the Supreme Court. Delivering the opinion on behalf of the court was former Justice Janet, Kabina Mohammed Janet. The Supreme Court said, NSA is not a criminal investigation agency. NSA cannot investigate arson. The report that was sent, you will see there, NSA, arson investigation. Extraction of evidence by NSA, the cyber security unit, is December 20, 2024. When the search warrant talks about January 5, 2025. So you did what you did already illegally, and then you went for search and seizure way January. So it is illegal. It can't stand. It is not anything like sentiments or anything like whims and caprices employed. It is nothing like dilatory procedural tactic employed. It is an issue of law. And the evidence on their face show that yes, that is what happened. So NSA has no authority to investigate. NSA is only responsible for clandestine operations, national security intelligence, and functions that they can carry out are only defined in their act creating them. Even the Minister of Justice or the President of Liberia cannot delegate to the NSA an authority that the NSA does not have statutorily to perform. No. In our opinion, by the Supreme Court said NSA should not engage in investigations that should be conducted by the Liberian National Police, and at that time, the National Bureau of Investigation. Now it is dissolved, it is the Major Crime Unit. So that is the issue before the court. There is an issue of law.
But the state prosecutor, Councillor Rachel Scott, was saying something on the contrary, that they do a communication to the NSA that to come to assist them.
Authority, Toby, you've been around here for long, more than any other journalist. Authority is not conferred by consent. Authority is conferred by law. Supreme Court said the act that created you is the one that gives you an authority to perform a function. If that act did not expressly state that you can do this and you do anything outside of the express authority of the act, your actions are up to virus.
So what in case the state, what in case they could deny the application, what would be your next step?
Of course, you know what we'll do again, we'll go to Supreme Court. And that's an issue of law. The law has remedy. But I don't want to preempt the judge. As an experienced judge, we leave him with what we say. I am just telling you what we said today before the court. And we leave it on his lap to use the law, because he's the law judge, to use the law and apply the law to the applications that we need.
Finally, Council, if you have a strong defense, why don't you go through the case and then flush the state during the full trial?
This is what the law says. Toby, I will not be angry to answer you. I will be happy to answer you. The law says when the person is accused of a crime and that person is taken to court, if the lawyer finds out that the procedural dynamics employed in the collection of the evidence are illegal, the lawyer has the right to suppress those evidence. You can't wait for trial. That's the law.
So you want to suppress it?
Yeah, we're suppressing the evidence. That's the law. You're welcome.